prophecies that are still left on the table. Not a whole lot of them, just a few left on the table before the kingdom of heaven is ushered in. But it's all leading to exactly how the scriptures lay it out.
This is an article via teachers.yale.edu. It's called Why Rome Fell and Is America Next? It says, in order to hypothesize whether or not our American empire will fall into the footsteps of Rome, we must first explore reasons for why Rome fell. Since there is not an agreement across all historians for the exact reasons why the Roman Empire collapsed, we will examine 10 popular reasons here. Historians like Gibbon, Heather, and Murphy have all put forth their opinions about Rome's demise through their own findings. In order not to discredit any one particular viewpoint, while also not solely following another, the 10 theories on the fall of Rome that this unit revolves around have been chosen from the History Alive curriculum, which encompass perspectives from historians like Gibbon and Heather. The rationale of the 10 theories on the fall of Rome are: number 1, barbarian invasions; number 2, decline in
the invasions of barbarians. You understand the history. The barbarians, these were basically Germanic tribes, that were, mainly up north. But Rome was constantly engaged in a lot of battles with those Germanic tribes. And they called themselves being spread too thin because they was in too many battles.
Yeah.
Well, look at America. America is everywhere
but
causing strife.
Yeah.
And fighting proxy wars all over the place.
They're everywhere except protecting home base.
Exactly.
So that makes
leaving this place vulnerable.
Gone.
Basically. Now they got nuclear defenses and whatnot, but we already know, according to the prophecy, once they get to that point where the nukes got to come out, they don't have no defenses against the destruction.
And when you look geographically at this place, the oceans and the Gulf and all that was a beautiful moat to have around your kingdom. But as technology advanced, which brings the prophecy to full fruition, when the technology advanced, hey, now everybody got through the week now have missiles to shoot over here. Yeah. So they got something for that.
Yeah.
That's why the scriptures call it the land of unwalled villages, man. And
when those missiles hit America, you gotta remember the angels gonna be here. So the angels, they manipulate Esau's technology. So they can't get that missile defense system on, because the angels gonna shut it down.
Turn them off.
And also the enemies of America, they have nuclear powered submarines.
Yeah.
They don't need to shoot a missile from across the world now.
But that's
which they are.
Yeah.
But they're also going to shoot missiles from off the coast.
Yeah.
Right in front of you.
They deny had articles talking about how they didn't been under American territory.
They have these nuclear powered subs that hold up to 20 warheads. And each warhead holds like 4 or 5 different warheads. It's crazy numbers like that. And they can all be targeted to different cities.
Yeah, the scriptures say Revelation 9, 200 million missiles.
So this place is destined to, it has its day. Like what the brothers were saying, it's already written. The day is, we don't know the exact same day, but we see the signs. We've been given the eyesight to see the signs, to estimate. We know what time we're living in, and we ultimately know that this place is destined for destruction, man.
The world sees it. The world knows that it's getting ready to come to that point.
Yeah.
Like you had a little segment where they was Biden. They was talking about they was urging Putin to pull back on this whole nuclear talk. Him threatening to go nuclear. And when they asked him that question, what do you say to Vladimir Putin?
Don't.
And he was like, don't. He said it 3 times. Don't. And it's like, what could you really say to that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, once them arrows get to flying, what you And the scripture even talks about like,
Turn it back.
yeah, 2nd Ezra 16, but also when it talks about in Jeremiah, I think it's either the 50th chapter or the 51st chapter, where it says that basically
They won't lose their rank.
the king,
Oh, no.
he's gonna be afraid of the terror. You know, when he hears the report of the missiles coming, he's gonna be shaken up, man.
Yeah.
Jeremiah 50 and 43. Yep. And it says, the king of Babylon hath heard the report of them, and his hands waxed feeble. Anguish took hold of him, and pains as of a woman in travail.
Now let's make a point of what he actually said also in that interview, 60 Minutes. I think it airs tonight.
Yeah.
He said it will completely change the face of war, of the planet. Something easy, like it's gonna change the world.
They said billions of people will die.
Yep.
Then it will follow years and years of famine.
Yeah.
People will starve out. Like it would change everything. But we know, according to the scriptures, America is going to be totally wiped out, and then other places that's going to get hit.
Okay.
But you think that the whole world is going to be just totally just obliterated? No, the scriptures say that the earth will bite it forever, and there's going to be in the Holy Land after its ruins. It's going to be rebuilt. The Lord's going to multiply the seed of Israel upon it. It's going to be a blessed land again. The earth is going to be refreshed, like it says in 2nd Ezra 11 chapter. It's basically that fire is not going to destroy it. It's actually going to purify the earth.
It's going to destroy the people that's ruling those areas.
Because even to land back up to that, when you brought up the earth abideth forever, well, back when we look at the Revelation 18, it talks about the destruction of America. It says, and the nations are far off.
Right.
You know, they were what? Wailing, man, lamenting. You know, so it shows you that everybody, the whole earth ain't about to be destroyed.
But you gotta say that from the Edomite perspective, so they don't get hit. It's gonna mess it up for everybody. No, it's just gonna fuck it up for you. Because everybody understands you the problem. That's the real bottom line. The Edomites are the problem of the earth, man. Their pride and the shit that they do, and the destructive nature, greed, selfishness, covetousness.
Yeah.
You know? These reasons is why it gotta go down.
And the scripture focuses on mainly Idumea being the target of that destruction.
Yep.
We read Isaiah the 34th chapter, it talks about the sword being bathed in heaven, and it shall come down upon Idumea.
Yep.
So mainly this destruction is going to destroy everywhere where Esau is, wherever he's ruling.
Yep.
So and it's mainly this landmass here in America.
This is the main.
This is the main kingdom that's been put to use to not only spread the wine of fornication around the world, but also as muscle.
Imagine
the hammer of the earth.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had if not that many people had guns, but you had big guns and a bulletproof vest. Wouldn't you be talking the most shit?
Yeah. But that ICBM missile is the equalizer, because you think America, if they're the only ones with them, they would have nuked somebody by now to show their power. Similar to the Hiroshima and Nagasaki. No, they're the only one that had it. So what did they do? They showed their power. But that's why Biden is so timid about, going into this nuclear war, because people don't understand. One nuke hits America anywhere, they done. Yeah.
If it hit the right, if it hit one of these major cities, if it hit New York, oh
man.
Chicago, LA, these major cities, if it hits anywhere, if it hit like a Houston or somewhere, or Dallas somewhere, I'm talking about major cities, it'll break the country in half.
Yeah.
Oh, before you go into what you about to say, I want to say this. And Biden talking about another $600 million given to Ukraine, which is fueling this war. Hold on, brother. Which is going to continue to fuel the war. So he's still passing out weapons and guns, man.
And Biden's just a puppet. The elite bankers are basically putting Biden up there, giving money to these other countries, man. Ukraine being one of them, to fuel wars. That's how the elites gain their power, man. By orchestrating wars.
I was going to read it, man. This is Nahum chapter 3 and verse 19. It says, There is no healing for your wound. Your injury is fatal. All who hear of your destruction will clap their hands for joy. Where can anyone be found who has not suffered from your continual cruelty?
Wow.
Call them out, right?
The whole earth wrong.
Yeah.
All right.
This devil is another power.
Whole creation.
Still want to be yeah, this is back in Jeremiah 50. And can I start up? It's Jeremiah 50 and 41. Behold, the people shall come from the north, and a great nation and many kings shall be raised up from the coast of the earth. They shall hold the bow and the lance. They are cruel and will not show mercy. Their voice shall roar like the sea, and they shall ride upon horses. Every one put in array like a man to battle.
That's talking about missiles.
Kind.
That's not talking about actual troops galloping on horses to come and destroy Babylon. That's the. When have you ever heard of an army of men on horses coming to wipe out a whole landmass to where it's never going to be inhabited again? That's like, come on. That's when the prophets spoke, they used a lot of similitude.
Yeah.
All right, similitude is basically when you use certain things to compare to another thing. All right. That's what they did. They used similitude to describe what they saw. All right, and the Most High would actually have them write it down. But that's basically talking about how the missiles, they're gonna come in a formation, and they're gonna come powerful, because when it uses a horse, the horse represents power. That's why they have the term horsepower.
Yeah.
All right.
And when they,
the same thing is mentioned in Joel the 2nd chapter. Okay, they're gonna be like mighty expert men of war. Talking about the missiles.
Right. And to land back with the other brother is saying here, the prophets could only use the verbiage or the words in which they had in that time. You know, it wasn't a word for missile. You know, so they could only describe it by its characteristics in a sense, man. So what horsepower, and then when we go into the book of Revelation, it also tells us what the head of it goes into the Jason, it goes into how the lion,
Jason,
kind of water. And then it goes into the heads of them, how they the light, basically how they do hurt, compare them to the lion.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, man. And then when you go into the prologue of Sirach, this part here, it says, wherefore let me entreat you to read with favor and attention, and to pardon us, wherein we may seem to come short of some words which we have labored to interpret. You know, so even the visions, they were only, hey, if it's no missile, man, and you see something flying in a vision with fire, hey, you describe it as an arrow. That's the only thing they had back then to that extent.
They said,
go ahead.
It said labor to interpret.
Yeah.
That's what our apostles and their elders had to do. They had to labor to get the full breakdown of these dark sayings, these deep mysteries.
How you know
It's how you, kind.
And then go down, it says, I found the book of
And it's going into language, right?
Yeah, language.
Yeah, that's why even Paul spoke about it in his epistle to the church.
You about to read it?
Talks about when you're speaking in tongues, it's more profitable to the church that you interpret what you're prophesying in that particular tongue, so that people can understand you. And it's all for edification. All right. So now, when you hear us prophesying, we make it plain to you by breaking it down and even going into the language and explaining what it is through the Spirit. Now you know what it means. Now you fully understand it, and now you know what to expect. You know.
You don't have to still be like, well, I don't understand that part. You full understanding.
These precepts to what we talking about.
With the stammering lips and another tongue when they
Speak to his people.
Yeah.
So a little bit more. It says, for the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another language have not the same force in them. And not only these things, but the law in itself, and the prophets and the rest of the books have no small difference when they are spoken in their own language.
Yeah, because the Hebrew, that's the first language. So any language come out of the Hebrew is diluted, man. It doesn't have the same power.
Yep.
You know, same
Because
force.
it's straightforward now. It's not all double entendres and double